Trump ups the ante on tariffs, vowing massive taxes on goods from Mexico, Canada, and China on day one. CNN President-elect Donald Trump on Monday promised massive hikes in tariffs on goods coming from Mexico, Canada, and China starting on the first day of his administration, a policy that could sharply increase costs for American businesses and consumers. The move, Trump said, will be in retaliation for illegal immigration and crime and drugs from coming across the border. On January 20th, as one of my many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on ALL product coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders, Trump posted on his Truth social platform. This tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl and or illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Trump said America's neighbors can easily solve this long simmering problem. Similarly, Trump said that China will face a higher tariff on each good by 10% above any existing tariffs until it prevents the flow of illegal drugs into the United States. I have had many talks with China about the massive amount of drugs, in particular fentanyl, being sent into the United States, but to no avail, Trump posted on Truth Social. The president-elect claimed in the post that Chinese officials promised him the country would execute drug dealers caught fueling drugs into the United States, but never followed through. Responding to Trump's announcement, Chinese embassy spokesperson Liu Pengyu said his country has been in communication with the U.S. about counter-narcotics operations and that the idea of China knowingly allowing fentanyl precursors to flow into the United States runs completely counter to facts and reality. About the issue of a U.S. tariff on China, China believes that China-U.S. economic and trade cooperation is mutually beneficial in nature. No one will win a trade war or a tariff war, Liu said in a statement to CNN. Canadian officials responded to the announcement in a statement posted to X on Monday night, saying that their country places the highest priority on border security and the integrity of our shared border and is essential to U.S. domestic energy supply. We will, of course, continue to discuss these issues with the incoming administration, Canada's Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland and Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc said in a statement. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called Trump shortly after his social media post. An official with the Prime Minister's office said the brief call was focused on border security and trade. A senior Canadian government source told CNN they characterized the call as productive and said that Trudeau and Trump promised to stay in touch in the days to come. A significant policy change. The punishing tariff, if enacted, could weaken Bayhawk on America's supply chains and industries reliant on goods from the country's closest trading partners. The measures proposed this evening could hit a number of strategic U.S. industrial sectors hard at approximately $272 billion a year to tax burdens, raise goods prices, lift interest rate, and sap strength in an already vulnerable household sector, called the Skarmota chip market strategist at Corpay Cross Border Solutions. Immediately after the announcement, the Canadian dollar fell 1.2% against the US dollar and the Mexican peso fell 2% against the dollars, but both recovered some of those losses Tuesday morning. China's yuan, though controlled by the government, traded higher above 7.6% in offshore market. Although investors believe the tariffs could ultimately strengthen the dollar, America's financial market took a hit too. The extraordinary tariff would raise costs dramatically for Americans for everyday goods that had previously come over the border without any import taxes. That stunning shift could stymie economic growth, especially if inflation wary consumers spend less in the face of higher cost. Though Dow stock futures fell 130 points or 0.3% Tuesday morning, the broader S&P 500 and Nasdaq were slightly higher. What America import? The United States top import from Canada is oil, which reached a record 4.3 million barrels per day in July, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. America also imports cars, machinery, and other various commodities, plastics, and wood from Canada, according to the United Nations Comtrade. America gets a majority of its cars and car parts from Mexico, which surpassed China as the top exporters to the US in 2023, according to trade data released by the Commerce Department earlier this year. Mexico is also a major supplier of electronics, machinery, oil, and optical apparatus, and a significant amount of furniture and alcohol comes from the country into the United States. The United States imports a significant amount of electronics from China in addition to machinery, toys, games, sport equipment, furniture, and plastics. During Trump's first term, CNN reported that he implemented tariffs on about 380 billion dollars worth of goods that applied to the thousands of Chinese-made products, including baseball hats, luggage, bicycles, TVs, and sneakers. The Trump tariffs also hit foreign steel, aluminum, washing machines, and solar panels. Many U.S. imports from Canada and Mexico are exempt from tariffs because of the USMCA trade agreement between the three nations that Trump pushed for during his first administration. It's not clear how Trump would plan to implement the proposed tariffs without violating the USMCA. Trump has routinely references the passage of the USMCA, which replaced NAFTA, as the political victory and the highlight of his presidency. Trump's tariff plan. Trump campaigned on using tariff as the cogwheel against foreign countries, as he did in his first administration, to grow domestic manufacturing while increasing tax revenue to pay for larger revenue gaps that his proposed tax cut plan would create. Tariffs effectively serve as the tax on goods imported to the United States, although Trump has repeatedly said that targeted foreign countries pay the tariffs. They are in fact paid by the companies that purchase the imported goods, and those costs are typically passed on to American consumers. Many mainstream economists believe the tariffs will be inflationary, and the Peterson Institute for International Economics has estimated Trump's proposed tariff would cost a typical U.S. household over $2,600 a year. Scott Besant, Trump's peak for Treasury Secretary has said that tariffs would not add to inflation if they are implemented correctly. Wall Street cheered Benson's appointment because he is widely expected to roll out tariffs gradually. Although Benson, but if confirmed by the Senate, will be partially responsible for implementing the tariffs in coordination with the Commerce Secretary and the U.S. Trade Representative. Trump, as the president, would wield significant power to levy tariff with the stroke of the pen. He did just that when he was last in the White House, placing large tariffs on goods, primarily from China. The problem with the tariff is that they often result in retaliatory actions by targeted countries, kicking off a trade war. And that's exactly what happened during Trump's first term. That blunted the tariff's effect on domestic manufacturing because manufacturers' goods became less attractive to overseas buyers. Trump has promised significantly larger tariff during his second term. Although he continued to discuss many different numbers, he has proposed a tariff upward of 60% on all Chinese goods, as well as an across-the-board tariff of either 10% or 20% on all other imports into the US. The story has been updated with additional context and development. CNN's Matt Egan, Paula Newton, and Jack Forrest contributed to this report.